Hello, welcome back. My name is Ari. I bought a giant beanbag off of Amazon that's way bigger than I thought it was. And today's video is all about reading the ACoTaR series. Not just the first book, but the whole series. For everybody who likes their series to match, I am so sorry that you're going to have to see this. I've got the original edition, paperback edition of A Quart of Thorns and Roses, and then the middle three books I have the new paperbacks, and then the newest book I have the hardback because it's not out in paperback yet. So your eyes get to be scarred. I'm sorry. Anyway, if this is your first time seeing one of my 24-hour videos, I basically set a stopwatch on my phone and read while that says 24 hours. I don't think I'm going to get through the whole series, but I'm hoping to get through at least the first like two and a half books. I think I could probably get through the first 3 books in a 24-hour period, but I might not finish the 3rd book is basically what I'm saying. That's at least the goal. We'll see if it happens, and I will periodically check in with you between the B-roll to tell you what I'm thinking about this series. Anyway, I'll be back in a second. Alright, I am done with ACoTaR, A Quart of Thorns and Roses. I am 4 hours and 48 minutes by my stopwatch to finish one book. Pretty good time. It'll probably slow down from there. I tend to read slower the longer straight that I read. Anyway, my thoughts. So I am going to assume that you are familiar with the ACoTaR series while I talk about this, so there will probably be spoilers because I just can't, like, I won't be able to talk about continuing books in this series if I don't have some spoilers in it. So a couple of things to note. First off, I'm familiar enough with this series, even though I haven't read it, to know that Farah and Rhysand are the main couple of the series. So it was very interesting to read this first book about her being in love with Tamlin and knowing that she's not going to end up with Tamlin by the end, that she's like a fated mate to Rhysand. So that's very interesting, like, perspective going into this book. I was briefly aware, or I was vaguely aware, that this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling to some extent. I think it's far enough away from the actual Beauty and the Beast story to not to be, you know, different different enough that you don't just instantly predict the ending. But then, like, the second half of the book, after the whole Beauty and the Beast thing failed, is more like a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, I guess. So that was kind of cool. Also, the poem, so the riddle part at the end, tell me that I did not read that riddle through once and go, oh, the answer's love. So not too impressed with the riddle, but I like the idea of it. Other than that, I enjoyed this book. I would probably give it like 4 stars. It wasn't the best thing I ever read, but I do enjoy Sarah J. Maas's writing, and it was like good fun. So enjoyed this. Happy to continue on with, I guess, yes, A Court of Mist and Fury is next. So I'm gonna start reading this.
It's taco time. Hello, we are in the car with the worst lighting absolutely possible, but boyfriend's working and he's very loud and I need to be very quiet, so this was really the choice. We are at 13 hours, dark outside if you can't see. I don't know what you can see in the background. This is the steering wheel. Just in case you were wondering what the hell that was. Steering wheel. So 13 hours is where we're at. I have finished A Court of Mist and Fury finally. And the fact that I still have like 11 hours to go makes me think that I really can finish A Court of Wings and Ruin in the next, or before the 24 hours is up. So get like the 3 main books, 3 backlog books done, and then I just have a novella in the book that I actually need to read for the Goodreads Choice Awards. Anyway, A Court of Mist and Fury. My thoughts. First off, I love Rhysand and Feyre's romance. I did not like the main romance in the other series by Sarah J. Maas, so I'm really, really glad that I like this one. Second, the trope that she uses to make Tamlin to end the romance between Feyre and Tamlin is one of my favorite tropes, even though it's a very problematic trope, because it's kind of like a gaslighting trope. Almost, though it's not really gaslighting. It's like overprotectiveness. So Tamlin is so... There's a dog. Tamlin is so scarred by what happened to Feyre that he just locks her away. Right? He won't let her do anything. He treats her like a prize, like something delicate and breakable. And she can't stand to be locked away because that was her trauma from book 1. So she flees to Rhysand or Rhysand? Is it Rhysand or is it Rhysand? Whatever. She flees to Rhysand and basically falls in love with him and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I really liked how Tamlin doesn't think he's the bad guy, but he is the bad guy, and that whole running from the man that she thought she loved with running from the man that she thought she was in love with because she'd never really known what love was her entire life. And then finding a man who treats her like a human being and not like a prize. So, very, very much enjoyed this. I still think it's a 4-star though. It's not quite a 5-star material yet. What else is interesting? The other thing I wanted to comment about is, again, like I said, I know some basic spoilers of what goes on in the book series. Not plot spoilers, but relationship spoilers, because that's what everybody talks about. And I know that the new book that just came out, the one that I'm supposed to read for Goodreads Choice this year, which A Court of Silver Flames, is that what it is? I don't know. They're all a court of something, and I'm getting names confused in my head. But I know that's supposed to follow Nesta's and Cassian's story. So watching the two of them interact early on in the series, knowing that eventually it's going to lead to a love story, kind of makes me happy. So 4 stars again. Very good. Continuing on with Court of Rings and Ruin. I haven't actually looked up like the synopsis for any of these books. I just kind of like figure it out as I go, and I'm obviously reading them pretty quickly and enjoying my time spent with them, but I really think I should be able to get this done within the next 11 hours. Maybe even be able to start in the novella. That would be awesome if I could get this done and be able to start on the novella in the next 11 hours that I have left. I don't know if I will be able to, but I should. Because in 12 hours, if I finish the first book and the second book, this one's barely longer than the second book, and then the novella is shorter than the first book, so maybe I'll get both of them done. I guess we'll find out. And I'll be back with this one in a little bit.
Hello, this is a really bad angle because I have temporarily misplaced part of my camera setup that attaches it to the ring light. I don't know where it is. I'll find it later. Doesn't matter because I have finished A Court of Wings and Ruin. That's super fun to say. Third book in the first trilogy, and it's kind of like the ending to the overall story that we began the book with. And for the most part, I liked it, but I'm still putting it in the 4-star category. The things that bother me. First off, there's like this plot line, this is spoilers, where Elaine is a seer, and the fact that no one sees it when it's so blatantly obvious really bothered me. And then the other thing, which is, this is a big spoiler, is I don't like when books end where no one dies. I need death. Good things. I cried a lot because it was big sad. And I really, really enjoy Feyre's and Rhysand's romance. I know that the next big novel has Nesta and Cassian's romance, and apparently a lot of people don't like Nesta, but I like Nesta, so I'm like really excited to read A Court of Silver Flames to get Nesta and Cassian's romance, because I like unlikable female characters, and Nesta is definitely an unlikable female character. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. If you can hear it, I'm cooking bacon. Just go with it. It's the sound of deliciousness. Anyway, to try to wrap this up quickly, I've got about 2 hours left, and I'm going to try to get the novel, A Court of Frost and Starlight. I have never heard anybody say anything good about this novella, so I wasn't planning on reading it, but somebody in my comments told me that it's a really important bridge between the end of A Court of Rings and the end of the first series and the beginning of the next series. So apparently I need to read it. So I'm going to read it, especially since it's a novella. It's short compared to the books that I've been reading, so I think I can get through it. But anyway, I will check back in once I'm done with that. We'll probably be over the 24-hour mark because I don't think I can read this in 2 hours, but we'll find out. It shouldn't be much over, but we'll see. hello, I am done with A Court of Frost and Starlight, the little novella. It has definitely been over 24 hours. I don't know where my phone is right now, so I don't know exactly how much over 24 hours it is, but we've definitely hit a little bit over the 24-hour mark. But done with the little novella. Basically what this is it's a Christmas story set in the ACoTaR universe after the events of the third book. So it's a Christmas story. It's very like loosely associated chapters. There's a shit ton of perspectives in this, and there were not a lot of perspectives in that like regular series. Regular series for the most part was just all Farah's perspective, with like occasionally somebody else's perspective. But this was like every chapter was by different person, different perspective. I understand why people don't like this, because nothing happens. It's like everybody buys each other Christmas gifts. So it's like, did this need to exist? Probably not. I think what this does is set up further stories in the universe, where it's like setting up different people's relationships. It's like their future goals, like how they are mentally after the war, what an alliance is going to look like between all the different Quarts and then the humans, and then like what's left of the armies after the king was killed and everything like that. So I think this is mostly like a setup, but I don't think it needed to exist, because you could have just set up all those stories at the beginning of the next book or the beginning of like each couple's respective books, if that's how Sarah J. Maas ends up doing it. So did this need to exist? No. If you really want a Christmas story set in the ACoTaR universe and you like little Christmas romances, sure. It's basically Feyre and Rhysand having a bunch of sex and Christmas presents. I don't know what else to tell you. That's all it is. Anyway, the last book I need to read is the one that's actually on the Goodreads choice, which is A Court of Silver Flames. I will not be reading that in this, or I will not be reading it in this vlog. I'm probably going to end up reading it next weekend, but I am going to switch to like a bunch of different books and read some other stuff, take a little break from the ACoTaR universe for about a week, and then go ahead and read this. So yeah, that's all for this video. Let me know what you thought about my shocking ability maybe to read the first 4 books in the ACoTaR series in 24 hours. Down in the comments below, say hi. I always love hearing from you, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!